The last time I was, it's always the creepy Zoom recording in progress. And the last time I was here, I was speaking about the Good Deeds Project. And the Good Deeds Project it was birthed as a suicide prevention program designed to bring awareness to kindness. And at the time, I was traveling, doing good deeds, and recording a documentary of other people doing good deeds. And so it is an honor for me to be back here today to share the story of joy. I think they both go hand in hand, to be quite honest, uh, to give and to bring that to, I'll get to it. But good deeds is something that I feel very passionate about. And good deeds is different than pay it forward. And I say that because a good deed is when you are present for somebody who needs something just for that moment. There's no strings attached. There's nothing that continues. It's not, oh, I'm going to do this for you, so then you go do this for three other people, or I do this for you, so you do this for me. It is just strictly a moment of giving and a moment of being present for another human being. And the reason I found this connected to suicide prevention was because I was spending so much time talking about suicide prevention and realized that it was these small acts, these moments of asking someone, how are you? And staying to listen for the answer. Watching when somebody's coming behind you, you hold the door for them, or if somebody drops something, you help them pick it up. These small gestures really go a massive way because you really just don't know where people are at in their mind and in their life. So I've always been very intrigued by happiness. Even when I was a kid, I really wanted to know what the secrets were to happiness. From even when I was a teenager, I was writing papers on happiness. I was doing interviews with people and asking people, like, what makes you happy? Like, I was just always really, really intrigued. And I found that there was this map that society would place out that was, go to school, get a job, get a house, find a partner, get the golden retriever and the kids and run them around everywhere, then retire, then live your life. And I just thought, there's got to be more to this than that map. And I know that map brings a lot of people happiness, so I'm not kiboshing that by no means. But I just felt like there was more to these check boxes that we have. And I spent a lot of time traveling. I went to many different places. I did a lot of work in Haiti and Africa, but I also traveled South America, Asia, all through Europe, even our own country and the US. And I came across many different traditions, many different people, many different teachers. And I was always confused by the separation. I didn't understand why everyone was so separate, why there was so much opinion around that. And it's one of the reasons why I love the Unitarian Fellowship. This idea that we don't need to think alike to love alike. That's like one of my favorite things. I love the idea that we can come together and have different practices, different belief systems, different ways of doing things, and still be under an umbrella of shared space and community. I think it's really powerful. And I really think we need more of it in the world, because I found that through all of my exploration, there was more things that connected us than separated us. And if anything, love was one of those things. And we all experience and express love differently, and I understand that, but I found that we all also experience it similarly, but we also experience pain similarly. We all have hardships and challenges. We all have struggles and hurts and difficult times. And just as we sat here listening to our own community here around joys and concerns, it's real stuff everybody was sharing. And there are times where we're really in it, in a challenge, in a struggle. And there are times when we're in a place of blessing and of joy, and that's life. And I think one of the biggest problems is that we expect it always to be happy. That we should always be happy, and when we're not happy, that's wrong. And I realized that my quest for happiness was this understanding that happiness was just an emotion, and it was like the clouds in the sky that came and went. And it wasn't something that brought fulfillment. You could get happiness from an ice cream cone. You can get happiness by sharing, time with a friend that makes you laugh. You can get happiness by, the sunset or the sunrise. You can get happiness by these moments, and it's a beautiful moment to enjoy that, embrace that happiness. But just the same, another cloud can come, another storm can come, and it can throw you right off. And so I realized that there was something even more to my quest to happiness, and it was joy. And the reason I say joy is different than happiness is because joy is something that we embody. It's a fulfillment. It's not something that comes and goes. You can be in a difficult challenge and still be in joy. You can be in a sorrowful place and still be in joy. And happiness is an emotion that comes and goes, but joy is something that it's like an understanding of life. It's embodying something more in life, coming to terms with something greater than yourself. And I found that through this journey and through this quest, there were certain keys that brought you to joy. And I'm so grateful to be here on this particular Sunday to share with everybody because it's Thanksgiving. And I feel like, the Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. The fact that we can come together under the umbrella of gratitude makes me so happy and joyful. And I wanted to speak on joy because I feel as though gratitude is the expressway to joy. When we live a life without gratitude, things will never be enough. When we live a life without gratitude, things will never be enough. We won't be enough. People around us won't be enough. We will never have enough. We'll always be in a space of striving for something to fulfill us. But when we live in a space of gratitude, we recognize what we have and we honor what we have. We embrace what we have. And when we focus on what we have and we find joy in that, it feels good. It generates a beautiful energy within ourselves. It generates a space where we can acknowledge the good in life. So I am a registered psychotherapist, and I remember when I was doing an emotion regulation group with kids who were 3, 4, 5 years old. I had these stones in the center, and everyone had to take a stone and put it into a jug of water and say something that they're thankful for. So, I was like, okay, we're gonna use these stones to practice gratitude. And of course, I'm working with 3 and 4, 5-year-olds. They're like, what's gratitude? I'm like, never had to define that. Like, I was like stumped for a moment there. I was like, well, gratitude is focusing on what's going well in your life, focusing on what's good, focusing on what you love that's happening around you. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's something that happened. And they're like, okay. So they took a stone and they were delighted to share, different parts of their life. But it made me sit and reflect on what to really break down gratitude in the simplest terms is to recognize what's good in the world, recognize what's good in our lives, recognize what's good in our relationships, and to bring focus there. Because the reality is we can look around and we can see the chaos and the destruction and the pain and the hurt and the absolute disaster of things as well. But then when we focus on that, that will make us feel a certain way as well. Maybe it will make us feel hopeless or frustrated or angry. Maybe it'll make us feel sad or depressed. And so it's not that that stuff doesn't exist. And I want to be really clear about that because it's coexisting. But when we can bring our focus to what's going well, what's going great, what's remarkable in our lives, what's bringing us laughter, what's bringing us love, what's bringing us, light in our day, then we bring that focus there, we generate that gratitude. And from that gratitude, we actually will generate more of what's good because that's what we're focusing on. Energy flows where focus goes. And if we're focusing on these aspects of our life, then we can start to grow that. Thanksgiving is a time of harvest. It's a time where we can look back on the summer and really, appreciate the fruits that we've grown over the summer days. It's a time of collection. We collect all of the food, and some people are jarring things, and they're preparing for the winter times. It's a time to recognize all that has been grown. But when it comes to growing a garden, and whether you're a gardener or not, it doesn't matter because I'm thinking of not just the seeds of fruits and vegetables, but the seeds in which we want to plant in our life. The seeds of joy, the seeds of love, the seeds of gratefulness. You plant those seeds, but then we have to water them. We have to take care of the garden. And in order to take care of the garden, we also have to take care of the weeds. We have to pull out the weeds and the things that are taking the nutrients from those seeds. And those weeds sometimes is our own negativity. The weeds is sometimes our own negative aspect of ourself that gets in the way, whether it's our self-doubt or our self-criticism or our self-judgment or our judgment towards others or a negative look on the world. We have to monitor that all the time within ourselves. And to weed that out and spend more time watering the joy, watering the love, watering what makes us grateful. And to do that from an emotional, mental aspect is to focus on gratitude. Gratitude is that water. And when we can really spend time focusing on gratitude, we can start to tap into this whole aspect that I've come here to speak about, and it's joy. Joy is fulfillment of life, to see the world as it is, not worse than it is, not better than it is, but as it is, and still choose joy, still choose love, still choose gratitude. And when we do this as a daily practice, and I know gratitude is something, I mean, it's talked about everywhere, every book, every person, everyone's talking about gratitude. It's something that's everywhere. And sometimes because of that, I think we tune it out a little bit because we see it so much. But the practice of gratitude has this infinite journey to it where it can go deeper and deeper and deeper. If you have a practice already, it can go deeper. You know, if you already, oh, I know gratitude, but it can go deeper. You know, I was just sharing this story the other day with somebody. I had, as many people were affected by COVID. I had COVID over Christmas last year, and I had gotten really, really sick. And I live on my own. And, you know, that was an experience to just like dive into this dark space of COVID alone. And I remember curling up and I was just drenched in sweat. And I'm thinking to myself, it was almost like a checkpoint in life. You know, I could allow this to take over, or I can focus on what do I need to get through this. And I was grateful for my life prior to this. I had a gratitude practice. I was grateful for my health prior to this. I was very focused on that. But this experience brought me in such a deeper level of gratitude, like such a deeper level of gratitude. I had a concussion last year, and my eyes were affected by that. And so when I had COVID, my eyes were in like excruciating pain. And for me, I always like analyze these things like from an emotional perspective. Okay, so it's my eyes. Like, what am I not seeing in my life? Like, what is it that I'm not seeing? Like, why is it coming through my eyes? You know, and so I realized that when I really sat with this, like, oh, I'm not seeing anything. Like, I'm not really seeing the depth of how beautiful life really is, the depth to how amazing everything from my hands to my breath, like to the fact that I'm in a home, like all of these, I would write them down and I was grateful for those things, but all of a sudden the essence of everything just came to life for me. And through that process of healing from COVID, I was very present with what is it that I need and providing it for myself. When you have somebody around, they would like get you the soup and the water and they would do all the things for you. And I was like, I have to embody that because there's not somebody here for this moment. And I have to be both. I have to be like the person who's sick and the person who's nurturing. And it allowed me to develop such a deeper relationship with myself and with gratitude and with life. And I'm so grateful for COVID that I was able to experience that and to get to this deeper level within myself. And I say this because COVID is something we can all relate to as a challenging time. But how do you look at it? What's your relationship to it? What's your relationship with any challenging time? Because there's this concept of joy that we all want to get to, and this concept of love that we all want to experience. But then there's always something that's in the way. Otherwise, we would all be in joy. We would all be flowing love unconditionally. So we have to ask ourselves, what's getting in my way? Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's about letting go of something. Maybe it's about self-nurture, self-care on another level. Maybe it's about really developing that relationship with yourself and going deeper in the relationships around you. Thanksgiving is a time of reflection. It's an opportunity for us to really sit back and think about what's going amazing in my life. And you might have to be radically honest with what's not going amazing in your life. But what's beautiful about that is the honesty around it gives you the power to start to take self-responsibility of what you need to weed out and where you need to water so that you can flourish your own garden of joy, your own garden of love, and that those are the real seeds that we're all searching for, no matter what spiritual practice we have, no matter what we call God, or if we don't even believe in God, maybe we believe in nature, it doesn't matter. We're human beings, and human beings are here to experience love to its fullest and embody joy. And we just have to become aware of what is getting in the way of that. Take some self-responsibility, do the inner work and the healing that we need to do, whatever that looks like for you, and it's different for everybody. I'm a registered psychotherapist, but I also do energy healing. And I think these two things are powerful tools, but they're not the only tools. We all have to go through the journey to discover joy within ourselves. And maybe it's not traveling the world and going to different things and doing going to different places. Maybe it's just the journey within. The journey within yourself to explore, where is your joy hiding? Because it's all there, by the way. Joy is, I don't know if you've seen the movie Inside Out. It's a kid's movie. It's about this girl who's 12 and all the characters are in her head. And there's a joy character on the controls, and there's the other characters. There's fear, disgust, worry. There's joy is the one. Yeah, so I think that's all of them. Anyways, when she's born in the movie, there's only one character. Can you think about who that character would be? It's Joy. Joy is the only character. Then, she's growing up and somebody gives her broccoli and she's like, oh, and then disgust gets developed. And then she's running and she almost trips over a cord, and then fear gets developed. And so it's through her experiences that these other characters get developed. But joy was always there to begin with. And so we have to become aware of, what are these characters within us? And who do we want on the controls? Do you want fear on the controls? Do you want anger on the controls? Or do you want joy on the controls? And so I don't just bring this up to stir the pot, but I bring this up and leave you with a tool, and that tool is gratitude. Truly, truly, truly. Don't just list things that you're grateful for, but write down what you're grateful for and why. The why generates the emotion and the energy. And the more we put energy into it, the more we're going to feel that gratitude and the more we can embody it. And that practice of gratitude is an express way to joy. And that joy isn't outside of you. Happiness is outside of us. That's, when I get this, then I'll be happy. When I go there, then I'll be happy. When I find this person, then I'll be happy. It's outside. It comes and goes. But joy is an inside journey. Joy is an inside journey that's been there the whole time. It's just got buried a little bit from different experiences and different challenges. And you have to dig through the dirt and pull out the weeds and allow the space for that joy to come and to grow. So I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to come into this space to share with you today. It is an absolute joy for me to share this concept, because I feel like if you really put it to practice, it's life-changing. So I studied Kundalini Yoga, and with Kundalini Yoga, we do meditation practice, and it's a 40-day practice. And so you do 40 days of whatever the meditation is. But if you miss a day, you have to start back at 1. So my challenge for everybody is to start a 40-day practice of gratitude. Writing 8 things. Let's keep it 8 things, what you're thankful for and why. And if you miss a day, start back at 1 and enjoy your journey to joy. So much love, everybody. Thank you for having me here today.